So we looked at patterns in class today, and we discovered that anything raised to the zero power equals 1. So this is a very straightforward, pretty simple rule. We're going to look at some special things that we need to consider here in a few minutes. But I have a number to the zero power. 10 to the zero power is 1. X to the zero power is 1. A fraction, notice the parentheses, so this base to the zero power is 1. And here I have a big, ugly fraction. I've got numbers, variables, exponents, all this stuff inside, but the whole thing is raised to the zero power, so it equals 1. So here are the things you have to pay attention to, okay? What matters with this particular rule, or any exponent rule really, is the base. The base matters. You need to ask yourself, what is being raised to the zero power? What exactly is being raised to the zero power? And you need to pay attention to things like parentheses, okay? Parentheses will help you decide what your base is. So here I have -3 raised to the zero power. So the -3 is in parentheses, so my base is -3. So anything to the zero power is 1. Now, how is this one different? What is different about this compared to the first one? There's no parentheses, right? So the only thing that's being raised to the zero power is whatever's right underneath the exponent. An exponent belongs to whatever's right underneath it. Okay, so this is really -1 times 3 to the 0. The negative is not part of the base here. So this is -1 times 3 to the 0 is 1. So this equals -1. So notice, just like we saw before when we were talking about negative bases right before Christmas, that the negative being in parentheses or not in parentheses makes a difference. Okay, so now let's look at this one. 4x to the zero power. So there's no parentheses. This 0 belongs to whatever's right underneath it. So the only thing raised to the zero power is x. This is really 4 times x to the 0. So this is 4 times x to the 0 is 1, and 4 times 1 is 4. Now look at this one. How is this expression different from the one we just did? It has parentheses, right? So this 0 belongs to the 4x. The whole thing is being raised to the zero power, so this equals 1. Okay, let's look at one more. It says 5x squared, y to the 0, z. So this is all multiplication, right? This is 5 times x squared times y to the 0 times z. I have a 0 exponent. What does that 0 exponent belong to? What is the base of this 0 power? The base is just the y, right? Because that's the only thing right underneath it. So like I said, this is 5 times x squared times y to the 0 times z. Well, none of this is going to change except for the y to the 0. The y to the 0 is 1. And so what happens is I end up with 5x squared z, because y to the 0 is 1. So all of that times 1 is just what's left.